Good evening. Happy Wednesday. It's Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, I want to talk about the gun incident on Ridge Hill and also these Yonkers news outlets. How reliable are they? Let's discuss. Good evening. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, I want to talk about the incident on Ridge Hill, more gun violence, as well as these news outlets here in the city of Yonkers. How reliable are they? Why are they even in existence? Are they here to bring the news, or are they political tools of corruption? Let's talk about it. Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Happy hump day. Tomorrow is Thursday. I think I'm getting my days right. I work around the clock 7 days a week, so I don't even know what days are, but happy Wednesday if it's Wednesday. I want to talk about the gun incident that happened. I believe it was yesterday. I was sent this video via text by one of the many individuals that sent me information, and I wanted to share it because it's more gun violence. Fortunately, no one was shot, but it's very scary, especially if you are the parent of a teenager. This involved a group of teens and an adult who brandished a weapon on Ridge Hill over some incident that was going on. I can't really tell much from the video, but I do have it here and I want to show you.
What the fuck are you gonna do? You don't think so?
Gentleman there in the black t-shirt.
I'm a real gangster, nigga. Alright, we'll see, nigga. Back up. Don't get my fucking gun. Don't get my fucking gun. Yo, listen.
Bitch, that gun.
Niggas gonna do nothing to nobody, you heard? If they gonna fight, y'all gonna fight. That's it. But none of y'all little extra niggas gonna do none of that shit.
Yo.
Here in a second, here he comes. He has a gun, you'll see there.
Don't come out, Joey. Don't come out.
There he goes right there.
What happened?
You make a movie.
That's the gentleman again that pulled out the gun. He had a silver handgun in his hand. I don't know what's going on. Apparently, there was a group of teenagers and there was altercation, and he was a family member, friend, or someone that was there with one of the group of teenagers that was involved in this, melee yesterday. And then he went in to defend. I guess he thought he was defending, teenagers who he had a relationship with, and he pulled out a weapon. I mean, but he yells it out, and people are filming. I mean, what was this guy thinking? He's like, "Get my gun, get my gun, get my gun," and then eventually he walks over to the home and comes back on and standing by the gate there with the gun in his right hand. Now, that's crazy. What if this was your kid, your child, one of your teenagers, teenage kid of yours that's coming home from school? And, kids, they like to see things like this. I know when I was in high school, if somebody said, fight, 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 everybody's running to where all the action is because you want to see what's going on. And then, God forbid, someone pulls out a gun and just starts shooting. As they say, bullets have no names. And anyone can end up getting shot, even if you had no involvement, but they were there simply to observe what was going on. And that's what appears to be. A lot of teenagers there just appear to be spectators, just seeing what's going on. And this is a grown adult, right? And I hear a lot of cops rush to the scene, but the person that sent me this video was concerned and is asking a question that I've had several people ask me, or at least mention to me, and that is about foot patrols. Again, they're wondering, can Yonkers Police Department implement more foot patrols or implement foot patrols? Because they say a lot of the foot patrols, if not all, have been cut. Bike patrols. I know I do see one guy's always on a bike, that one individual by Getty Square, but they want to see more like satellite offices, or whatever you call those things, locations where police officers can position themselves in areas where there's a lot going on, especially, after school. Over where I'm at on Lockwood, after school, you see all the kids. You have a lot of schools there, but you see a lot of the kids from Saunders High School coming down, and you know they're teenagers, to put it nicely. They're teenagers, but it gets a little crazy. You know, and the other day they were actually running around shooting each other with some kind of, you know, they were like toy guns, but they shot like these little pellets, plastic stuff, and they were just going crazy, running into the street, and cars are just flying up and down. So, you know, there needs to be maybe something in the new police commissioner coming in. Maybe that's something that he can, you know, consider, look into. Like I said, many people wondering there could be more foot patrols, certain areas that are, you know, like Nodine Hill, where there's a lot of action going on, a lot of people, especially after school, where people are gathering, coming home, the teenagers. You know, they don't go directly home. Getty Square after school is a madhouse. Kids congregate there and they stay for a while, and they're running all over and chasing each other, playing. Most of the time it's just playing, but sometimes it gets into fights and it gets crazy. And, you know, I've been in Getty Square when a fight broke out and I seen people grabbing things from the stores to throw at each other. It was crazy. And I had my daughter with me in a stroller, so I got up out of there quickly. So, you know, I know in Getty Square, though, there's often police, but maybe, you know, the new police commissioner, something that he can look into, adding foot patrols, maybe more satellite locations for police officers, especially areas where there are a lot of, you know, individuals congregating, especially after certain times, like after school, near the high schools. That's area Ridge Avenue is near Gorton High School. So I would imagine that a lot of the students were from Gorton and possibly Sacred Heart. You do have Sacred Heart there as well. Right. So, you know, that's just something to consider. I thought that was crazy. Folks, parents, you know, it's something that I think about, you know, many times throughout the day. I wonder, you know, the parents, you know, and I know parents are working. It's a lot. Parents doing, you know, people have to have 2 and 3 jobs nowadays to make ends meet, you know, but knowing where your child is, you know, having a plan for them to, you know, be at somewhere after school. Hey, you have to be here, checking in with them, because it's just dangerous out there. It's just dangerous. There's a lot going on. And as you can see in this video, an adult, it's not even a teenager, not even a kid, an adult out of everyone there is the one that pulls out a weapon. And fortunately, he didn't shoot, because anyone could have got hit. And again, parents could, God forbid, your child is just an observer, just going to be a spectator. And, you know, people start shooting bullets flying everywhere and they have no name. So just something to consider. I just want to show that video because I know we've been seeing a lot of crime involving guns. And this is another one. Another one, just fortunately, no one was injured here. I would imagine the individual was arrested. But maybe, again, going back to the new police commissioner, that's something he can look into. More foot patrols. And speaking of the police commissioner, I was recently accused of calling him a racist. I think I was misunderstood on my podcast yesterday. I was not calling him a racist. I didn't say he was a racist. What I said is that citizens here in the city of Yonkers were concerned or had some concerns, to which they emailed the Yonkers City Council, specifically the City Council President's office. And they were concerned about a picture that he had posted of himself with Donald Trump at a golf course onto his Facebook page. And that's all I mentioned. And then I spoke about the concerns that citizens had, so much so that they went and drafted emails and sent them to our elected officials so they can look into these concerns. And my podcast yesterday was not so much about Christopher Sapienza, the new Yonkers Police Commissioner, but more so about the Yonkers City Council and their lack of true concern for what the citizens want, need, or have to say, especially when the decision is final, as it was yesterday. The police commission decision was final, and they had to roll with it, and nothing was going to change that. And they were not going to prolong that appointment by reviewing this any further. Is there something to review? I don't know. That's not the point. The point is that there was no even consideration to possibly doing that, specifically on an issue concerning Donald Trump and possible racism and police, when that's been such a hot topic issue. And they fought so hard, and they got the BLM, logo or sign painted on this, street there in South Broadway, very pro BLM, which, is an organization that stood up for police brutalities and murders, as they say, of unarmed Black Americans. Right. And I'm not taking a side there. That's not my point here. It's just the fact that when it comes to, the city of Yonkers here and the city council having to do what they're told, they're going to do that regardless if it goes against their views, opinions, and belief that they once expressed. And they found ways yesterday to talk in circles and try to justify the fact that they really spent no real time on it. No real time on it. And not just this, but anything. But anything that goes up for vote, everything is 7-0. And people have been saying to me, Freddie, not even Phil Lamacombe was able to get so many 7-0s. And listen, the mayor's a likable guy. I've met him now and I've said hello to him many, I don't say many times, but several times now. And he's always cordial to me. He recognizes me and, he does say hi and seems like a nice guy. So maybe that's his power. He's a great guy. I'm not saying anything he's not. But again, at least show us, okay, yeah, they did their job. They looked into it and it still was 7-0. Cool. Boom, 7-0. No problem. But they don't like what I'm saying. It's obvious that the elected officials do not like what I am saying on basement politics. Duh, right? Of course not. Yeah. But so much so that they're now trying to discredit me, trying to defame me, trying to alter my message, put words in my mouth, accusing people of being racist. And how have they done this? Through one of their political tools, the Yonkers Newswire. The Yonkers Newswire is run by a gentleman by the name of Brian Harrod, a Yonkers resident living in low-income housing, which I think you should have been more concerned with that, Brian, because that impacts you. But instead, Brian is concerned with attacking Freddie. Now, this is the second post that he has gone on to create about me. And Brian, what you've done is you've humbled me. You flattered me. And you're giving me what I need to be able to get the blue verified check. So thank you. Because once I do that, you guys can't shut my page down. Because they have. They have. And in fact, Brian Harrah has gone as far as to screenshot some of my screen images from my podcast when I go from screens and showing you guys videos, and he's shared them. One of them including a message from Carolyn Elizabeth Marie, and another one from a gentleman named Liam. Liam was concerned, actually, it's funny, about the fact that he had not heard from me in a while. And my response to Liam was that they're messing with my page and that had gotten it shut down for 30 days. Right? They were saying it was a fake page and I had to verify my identity. So it took a while. So Brian Harrah shared that conversation between me and the gentleman Liam, which it's very childish and petty. And although it is public, it's Facebook, it's still somewhat an invasion because it's of my privacy, because it's nothing really that needs to be made public. And I'm not a public figure. Maybe. Am I? I don't know. Maybe not anymore now that I do the podcast and, I am a little more recognized, but I don't still consider myself a public figure, and I'm definitely not an elected official. So why would Brian Harrah spend time speaking about Freddie Vasquez? Well, it's very simple. It's very simple. The elected officials are concerned. They are concerned with Freddie Vasquez. They are concerned that I'm actually going to run for office. And watch Brian Harrah go and make a post about this now. Freddie Harrah, the grandiose idea of running for office. Yeah. Is it grandiose? I have been asked by both parties, actually, have pulled me aside and said, hey, would you be interested? And that's a fact. According to Brian, I may be making that up, but that's a fact. And there are gentlemen that can attest to it. But I have no true interest in running for office because I keep it too honest. I'm too real. And that is a no-no when it comes to politics, it seems. It seems you have to be good at BSing the people, as John Rubel did over at the Bernice Beckman Center, where he talked in circles and gave many excuses. But that wasn't the most shocking thing that he said. He accused a constituent of his district as well as a senior advocate who gets no money for what she does. She gets no grants funneled to her at all. Yet she takes her time and her money to assist seniors in the community. And he calls her a scammer simply because she was advocating to have the Bernice Beckman Center open sooner than later. They were getting the runaround, and she spoke up. So now she is being called a scammer by the councilman. Is that okay? Is that okay that an elected official will call a constituent, a member of his district, a scammer in front of other constituents, other members of the community, and live on Yonkers Voice? Yet Mr. Brian Harrah makes no mention of this. Instead, he talks about Freddie and his podcast and what he said live. Brian, people saw my podcast. Obviously, you did as well, because you pretty much gave a recap in your post. It's not like it was a secret. You're telling people because it made no sense. But these guys are not people who make sense. They're people who are looking to simply get ahead in life and will do whatever they need to do to maintain that position, that power, and continue to move forward. This is the post by Mr. Brian Harrah, and I will share it. Look, this is Liam actually right here. Hey, Brian, why don't you screenshot this now? He actually is asking me about the screenshot that you posted on the Yonkers Newswire. So why are you involving other individuals of the community? I'm sorry about that, Liam. My apologies. I hear Brian's Harrah's not wrapped too tight. Well, this is what he says. LOL. Some wonder if Freddie is confusing these fake phone number harassment calls with the everyday spam that all of Yonkers residents get on their cell phones. I don't think so. And I have employees who will attest to the fact that these are scam calls and are not these spam calls that we get every day. They're not. They're very aggressive. They're asking for me by name, and they're saying, Freddie, is Freddie there? I want a job. I want a job. And they only do it to the women employees because when I pick up, they hang up. But Freddie is with one E and two Ds, Brian, insists that the treating calls are real, right? Because I'm making this up, and mention ones that he heard against Mike J. Cater. Well, ask his wife, ask his neighbors. They're all making this up, Brian. You know, the individuals that are behind you, Brian, that are asking you to do this are showing their intelligence once again. And he says publicizing these alleged threats protect his supporters who are in danger. Absolutely. 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 Folks, there is police reports of individuals coming to my office. The latest, well, hasn't happened in a while, but an individual came, he said he was from Brooklyn, a gangster-looking guy. Police came. They took his information. The guy tried to barter for a slice of pizza after the cops came because he didn't have enough money, yet he jumped in an Uber. He looked rather rough, you know, like he didn't have much money. It was like someone just gave him a few dollars and said, hey, go harass this guy, Freddie Vasquez, and then jumped in an Uber. Who paid for the Uber? He got there in an Uber and left in an Uber. This is all real. It's documented. Police came. I got it on my security cameras. He would not leave the premises. So I'm making this up. This is just totally Freddie making it up. Eventually, someone claiming to be Jake Former, that was someone who had commented on the podcast yesterday, stepped in and prompted Freddie's diatribe to back to attacking the police department and city council members. Now, this is an attempt to make the police department hate me, which I hear actually a lot of them like me. And they've been very cordial. And I said yesterday, and you can go watch the podcast if you don't believe me, that I have full respect for the Yonkers Police Department. They have been perfect gentlemen, perfect ladies when engaging me. In my incident at the building apartment when the knucklehead called the police for no reason, police were upset and they apologized, but they didn't have to because they did nothing wrong. I never attacked the police. Yonkers Police, again, much respect. You guys are doing a great job. And I send my well wishes to Officer Brian Menton. Yes, I do go after council members because they very much need somebody to go after them. No one's been checking them at all. Our elected officials have been operating here in the city of Yonkers with impunity without anyone holding their feet to the fire. And anyone that's attempted to hold their feet to the fire has had to deal with exactly this. And that's why most people back away. But I'm not. Because Brian Hurrah doesn't frighten me. The Yonkers Tribune doesn't frighten me. City Council doesn't frighten me. Threats to my business doesn't frighten me. Calls to my office doesn't frighten me. But it does some people. And it's understandable. I was born in the streets. I had to go through a lot worse than you, Brian. You're a cakewalk. Cakewalk. But not everyone's had to deal with what I've had to deal with in life. My wife would be upset if this was happening to her, absolutely. But me, let's bring it. Let's do it. So if you want Brian, that's fine. But our city council has to be checked. They are the checks and balances, but they check nothing. So we must check them. And I apologize if they don't like what I'm saying, but nothing I say is personal. It's politics. I don't talk about any of the family members, their kids, unless it's in connection to the city of Yonkers somehow, which I really do. However, Yonkers Newswire does, Yonkers Tribune does. And in fact, they've spoken about Mike Breen's family, which Mr. Bryan goes on to say, Freddie also accused Mike Breen of milking the system and saying his wife gets multi-million-dollar deals, real estate handed to her. I did say that. And I got that from the Yonkers Tribune. That's where, do you remember the article, Brian? There was an article in the Yonkers Tribune. Actually, 2 articles about Mike Breen. They mentioned his wife, Patty. That's how I knew her name. And his kids. That's how I knew about them and their jobs. And they accused him of milking the system or the city of Yonkers. I repeated what the Yonkers Tribune had said, Brian. And I repeat it again. And it's not just the Yonkers Tribune that's mentioned that because, again, people are talking. And you know this, Brian. And you know this. And they're saying that her deals are not necessarily hers. That's according to what people are saying. Is it true or not? That's what people are saying. He also claims that there are many Black and Latino leaders talking to him, and they are lining up to take Majority Leader Tasha Diaz and Shanae Williams' council seat. Oh, yeah. What's wrong with that? Is that not okay? Is that wrong to want to challenge an elected official? How dare someone challenge an elected official here in the city of Yonkers? You got to wait in line. If you don't, we're going to come after you. Just ask the gentleman who wanted to run for city court judge. Am I making this up? City of Yonkers. Am I making this up? You tell me, folks. Will the honest people, the people of integrity here in the city of Yonkers, and the people that are tired of the nonsense, and individuals like Brian Hurrah, who sits home all day collecting money from not only the government, but from elected officials to do crap like this? And this is why we have continued tax increases, water bill increases, and increases everywhere else that hurts our pockets, while we see certain elected officials, developers, get all the benefits. All the benefits. Not that we're looking for benefits, we're looking for fairness. We're looking for a council with integrity, one that truly represents the people, and that are not there simply to enrich themselves. Elected officials should not be career politicians. They should not. There is no diversity in that. There is no new exchange of ideas and fresh ideas. And when you allow certain elected officials to go on for 10 years, 12 years, however long, what you're going to get is decisions being made with one mindset, especially if that mindset is a very strong and controlling mindset. And then you have a city that looks like what they want and not what the people want. So yeah, there are people going to be coming. Excuse me, allergies. There are people going to be coming for those seats. And they should, because it's time that we get individuals that are not going to yell in the city council chambers, that are not going to threaten constituents, and they're not going to pay individuals like Brian Hurrah to write up hit pieces on other elected officials, as well as members of the community who voice their concerns and opinions. This is a tactic to suppress the people, to suppress your voice. This isn't the first time Brian Hurrah was summoned by the elected officials to come after me. I have this documented, and he's going to try and say I'm crazy again. But I had mentioned to her, Brian, to stop harassing me, as he was sending a bunch of articles for whatever reason to my inbox. This was about 2 years ago. This was around the time where I was told by, and I'm not going to mention his name because I spoke to him and I feel bad. I don't want to keep mentioning his name because he's been quiet, and I respect that. Unlike Brian. But that's when I was told by this individual that elected officials wanted he and Brian Hurrah to write a hit piece on me then, to impact my business then, because I was holding their feet to the fire even before basement politics. That's where it all started from. That is why they started giving me a hard time about the permits. And that is why I started basement politics. And it's documented because I'm not stupid. One thing I learned from my CPS hell, that you must document everything. Because once I did that, CPS was backpedaling. And that is how we got involved with elected officials. They wouldn't get involved with someone who had whatever Brian is saying I am and other people have tried to make me out to be. And that is why they did an about face and started to work with me. They saw what we were doing. They saw us on the news, and they came knocking on my door. I started to get invited to events because they wanted checks. And I went. And I wrote some checks. But I cannot be around the people. It's too fake for me. It's just too fake for me. So you can say what you want, Brian, but I actually get out of my basement. I only come down here to do my podcast. Oh, and to bring the laundry down when my wife wants, the baskets. Unlike you, who don't leave your apartment ever in that blue hoopty you got there. Yeah, Brian. You have no idea what you're talking about. And I want to know who paid you to do this. Was it Tasha? Was it Tasha? This is real pathetic. So I wanted to come on and talk about this, but I want to bring it up not because I want to talk about me and this individual. I want to highlight what is done to individuals in the city of Yonkers when they speak up. How dare people try to suppress individuals' voices, advocates? Why didn't you mention John Rubo and how he attacked a constituent? You're defending Tasha Diaz here, Brian, yet you have not mentioned what she's done, who she's attacked, documented on video. So what does it matter? Have you seen Shanae Williams' district, Brian? Why don't you write about that? Why don't you write about the homeless and the mental health situation that's a dire situation there in District 1? Why don't you write about that and leave Freddie Vasquez alone? Or you can continue to write about Freddie Vasquez and continue to make me popular. You're only spreading my name. All press is good press, especially when I'm here for the people. I'm here truly for the people. They're concerned that I'm going to run. They're concerned other people are going to run. They keep tying London Reyes, Carolyn to me. London, I have not spoken in I don't know how long, but they're concerned that London is going to run over there in District 3. So what they're doing is they're trying to get ahead of it. Let's try to discredit this fame Freddie, make him look bad, make this guy look like something is wrong with him, make him look aggressive. That's their thing. It's not going to work. It's not going to work because what I say, you guys prove it every damn day. Every damn day. Especially when some of you open your mouth. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. Definitely not going to let them intimidate me. Absolutely not. No Rick Rubin looking mofo going to intimidate me because Brian Herrera looks like Rick Rubin. I don't know if you know who Rick Rubin is. He's a famous producer. Check him out. He looks like Rick Rubin. Later years, Rick Rubin. But yeah, so this is what they do. And he goes, for the record, Yonkers Police Department Commissioner Christopher Sapienza is a lifelong Yonkers resident and was highly praised by the Yonkers City Council, who voted 7-0 to approve the mayoral appointment. Oh, really? Oh, that makes it all. Why didn't you say that to begin with? That makes it all the difference. We believe that. And again, I don't know of, the new commissioner. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm not saying anything negative. All I'm saying is that there were concerns about him. He had a picture of Donald Trump that he posted on his Facebook willingly. And we are in an environment where anyone that's associated with Donald Trump or supports Donald Trump takes a picture of him, puts it on their Facebook willingly, is considered a racist. And I don't agree with that general statement, but I'm saying that's what, especially our council, the women on our council have been doing that. Shanae Williams couldn't even say his name. That's how much she hates the guy. Anything associated with him, she was against until she was told to vote yes. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Thank you for joining me. Don't listen to this guy. Thank you for the individuals who show me the stuff, because I do get people sending me. I don't know if I'm blocked or whatever, so I can't see it. Thank you, guys. I got people that watch out for me, Brian. The people are fed up. You're a lone ranger with your little crew there. That's going to be gone, Brian. And I'm saying it to you. Yes, they are going to get challenged. And I can't wait. Thank you, folks. I'm out of here. Get out of here.
Freddie wins.
That's right.
Fatality.
Hi, Freddie Vasquez. Thank you for joining me. Like everyone's telling me, this is something that's fresh, new, and very much needed. And I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for the support. Thank you. I'm glad that I'm able to provide something that is needed and that people appreciate. I only can do this with you guys. So thank you. And yes, there are a lot of people showing me information. Oh, and by the way, Brian, there are people sending me information that's insider information. Ask John Rubo, how did I know about a perfect solution? Brian, how did I know about that? How did I know that one of the clients is AMS? I would have never known that. Never known that. Maybe I could have found a company which is located at the same address as the campaign to elect John Rubo, the same organization that paid for the handwriting expert in the Carlos Burgos trial. Remember that? And they probably are the ones that pay for Harris Beach, but they share the same address with a perfect solution. How would have I known that? Maybe the company, maybe, but not the fact that they have AMS as clients. That is insider information, and that is what I'm talking about, Brian, and you can go to. Thank you, folks. Thank you.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
A perfect solution. It's a perfect solution. It's a perfect solution. It's a perfect solution.
I was raised in housing. I don't think you were.
It's a perfect solution.
Discredit wins.
Solution.
Fatality.
It's a perfect solution. It's a perfect solution. Listen. they're concerned. Latinos, they're concerned. They're concerned. They're very concerned, and they're gonna use those individuals. They're not on our side. Unfortunately, they converted to the dark side, folks. We lost them. We lost them. That's right. Speaking out loud. No mention of how city officials acted like a coward publicly because he couldn't handle the tough questions. The seniors called Rubio a liar, and they repeatedly told him to his face he is a coward. That's right. It's not me. Why are you blaming me, Brian? The seniors were there saying it themselves under Yonkers' voice. Brian, did you not hear this?
In another one, Mr. Rubo lied to me, and I don't vote for a person that lied to me. Thank you very much. In another one, Mr. Rubo lied to me, and I don't vote for a person that lied to me. Thank you very much.
That's right. Did you forget about that, Brian? That was a constituent of the District 4 there.
Discredit wins. Fatality.
Thank you, folks. Have a good night.
Discredit wins. Fatality.
They're coming for District 3. They're coming for District 2. Coming for District 1. And somebody very big out here is coming for mayor. Wow. It might just take this person to actually do it. Big, 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 big. And I'm not going to mention anything until you see it yourself.
Discredit wins.
Now go run tell that, Brian.
Fatality.